Well, turns out that this is the last talk I'm giving in this church year, because our church year ends in June and begins in July. In July, we're taking off, so next time you'll see me will be August 7th, and I look forward to that. I was reflecting back to this past church year, and I thought I would highlight a few things that we have done this year, and a few things that I think we've done quite well. One of them is we created weekday programming, Thursday evenings, sometimes Tuesdays, and those have been, for me, and I attend pretty much every single one of them. Very few have I missed. Those are times for me to get inspired, because usually, I give the talks, so I'm not nearly as inspired as hopefully you might be occasionally, at least. The Thursdays have been scintillating for me. The conversations, the people we brought in, the conversations we've had were enlightening, enriching. I really, really enjoy them, and I hope that so are you. We even do things like Qigong. So we do it on Zoom, and we do it twice a week. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we do it twice a week. We do it Tuesday morning at 9, and then Saturday as well at 9. The Saturday one currently is less well attended, and I can only encourage you to join it. I don't know about you, but I'm aging. So every morning when I wake up, my body is stiff. That's new, by the way. I didn't used to be. For a minute, I thought I forgot how to sleep. But it's not true. I know how to sleep. It's just my body is stiff. So Qigong loosens it up. And we will have Qigong through July as well. So 9 a.m., it's on Zoom. You can do it in your PJ. It's good for your body. Join. The fun stuff. We did last year, we had the Broadway barbecue, and it's coming back to you. So if you've not attended one, please do. Mark your calendar. It's July 16th. It's in our backyard. And we're going to have Farmers Alley Theater sing Broadway tunes, musicals. It was so much fun last year. We cooked good food, vegetarian, and other options as well. So it's July 16th, 5 p.m., our backyard. The address will be in the newsletter. If you need it, call the office, call me. I'm just not going to put it online right now. But please come. Now, the other thing that I am deeply grateful and extremely proud of, we unanimously voted to adopt the 8th principle, which says to accountably dismantle racism and all forms of oppression. This also gives us our work for next year. Like, how do we accountably dismantle racism? What sort of programming do we need to create for the coming year to accountably dismantle racism and all forms of oppression? We had many meetings where we talked about this 8th principle, and we all had an opportunity to think about it, to speak to whatever was ours to speak into it, and then we unanimously voted it in. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for just realizing the immensity, the weight, the importance of this work. I am so grateful for it. And I get to be part of this community. I mean, come on, what's better than that? So I'm grateful for that. Every now and then, um, I give a talk that speaks to me too. And one of those stands out to me. I gave it a few weeks ago on belonging. I don't know if any of you remember that, but I kind of do. And when I say I kind of do, I never write down my talks. I also never repeat talks. It would be too boring for me to repeat a talk. And I also don't write them down because that's also boring for me. And it's the way my mind works, it's more of a hindrance than help. But this one, I kind of remember, and it had an impact on me. It actually got me thinking about my life, about the choices I make in my life. And a few years ago, and I'm sure that you have long ago made this decision, but it always takes me a little bit longer to catch up. So a few years ago, it occurred to me that I want to make decisions in my life that bring about little to no regret. And that's easier said than done. It requires a sense of presence to one's own life, to the decisions that we make, small and big, and then evaluate those decisions and kind of think into the future and determine, will I regret this? Will I not regret this? And then it takes courage to say no to something that you realize you might very well regret. I'm not always successful, but I have also learned that life is not a destination. It is all a process. It's all, I'm sure you've heard it, it's the journey. But it is. It is the journey. And sometimes I do it right, and sometimes I fail, and that's okay. I'm in good company, right? So, but the talk about belonging was this. What got me thinking, and I still think about it, how the opposite of belonging is not belonging, but it is fitting in. And fitting in carries a huge price with it. It means to fit in, I may have to bite my tongue and not say something that is mine to say. It may mean that I have to compromise my sense of integrity to be accepted by you or you or you. And when we belong, it means that we can belong authentically with whatever is authentic for us. Our belief system, our values, our principles, all of that is acceptable. And to link it back to making decisions that bring about little to no regrets, it also got me thinking that I only really want to energize places where I can belong. And if there's places where I just fit in, I'm willing to let them go. And that also takes courage, a sense of presence, and a stepping up, a growing of myself up. So that's on a personal level. But now think about this. Today is Juneteenth, right? And it got me thinking also in relationship to belonging and fitting in, that we've done a terrible job terrible job of helping African Americans, brown people, people of color, people of different sexual orientation, transgender people. Can they really belong in this society that we've created? Or are they at best fitting in? And that is heavy on my heart. Because the way I don't want to energize places where I can only fit in, I want that for everybody else. I want them to feel like they can belong. They can belong with me, and they can belong in the society that I help create. And how has that been accomplished? And that's where our work lies. In dismantling racism and all forms of oppression, that's why we do the work. So we all can belong. So nobody has to bite their tongue. Nobody has to sacrifice their authentic self to be part of either this particular beloved community or the larger society. In case you don't know what Juneteenth is, and I'm assuming you do, I will just tell you anyway, because it's what I do. So President Lincoln, on January 1st, 1963, declared the Emancipation Proclamation, which meant that all slaves would be free in this country. And this didn't reach Texas until 2.5 years later. Think about that. Think about that. Was there a single slave in this country who didn't dream and long to be free? And now the law of the land is that they are free and they are the last ones to know. 2.5 years might as well be 2 million years when you're a slave. In fact, think about this. Slave owners from other states shipped their slaves to Texas in hope that the Confederates would win the war, and then they could go and claim their property, reclaim their property. Speaking of belonging, oh, there's so much healing we need to do. So today is the day when finally the news reached 150, 7, 8 years ago, 53 years ago, 58 years ago. Math is not my forte. That Texas slaves are free as well. And that freedom to, sure, in name. Well, anyway. So belonging. Belonging in families. Happy Father's Day. So those of you who are fathers, we honor you. There's so much today, right? Juneteenth, Father's Day, we're honoring our volunteers, which also reminds me that Unitarian Universalists, we have a huge conscience, right? And we ache when we see social injustice. And so we end up being serious people because we are aware of the injustices of the world and we care. And then we forget to celebrate. When in fact, there's so much to also celebrate. And that is just this weird dichotomy that life is all about, the yin and the yang. There is the heaviness, well, that's what is heavy, deep, and real, right? And then there's the joy. And it's good for us to hold both those, the alpha and the omega, and everything else in between. So there's joy as well. We celebrate the fathers who are good fathers, who support their families, who raise children with full heart, and who create an environment of belonging and not fitting in. And then fathers who are a bit more reluctant, but they step up anyway. We just celebrate all fathers all parents. So thank you for being fathers, good fathers, loving fathers. It is here in this beloved community. We try to embrace life with its ups, with its downs. Looking back on this year, I'm aware of all the programming that we put on, and we have a wonderful team, the Sunday services, who helps with that. Both Miriam and I are part of that, and Regina, Kimberly, Joe. Now Dave is coming on next year. We're excited about that. And I have deep gratitude for all the teams, all the committees that make life in this beloved community possible. But what I'm most impressed by is the heart of this community. And if you have belonged to this community for some time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you are in trouble, this community will lift you up. The caring of this community is just incredible. If you are new to this community, you will learn. You will learn that you are not alone. Regardless of what you are going through, if you are willing to share with us, you are not alone. We will come alongside you and we will help you celebrate, or we will carry your burden with you. And when you can, we will carry it for you. Wow. I get to belong in here. It's amazing. I am impressed by the heart of this community. And this is how we shall carry on in the new year, when we will decide what the new programming will be. The heart for carry on will be the same. Supporting, kind, loving, and caring. So, it has been a truly wonderful year. We have learned to navigate the this and the that. And we did a fine job. And by the this, I mean we're here in the building and we're also present online. However you wish to join us, and it's yours to join us, you can. And Steve, thank you for making it possible. And Miriam and Joe, the tech team, I'm in awe of you. We've done it really, really well. Even larger spiritual communities have not done as good a job as we have. I mean it. So we had a wonderful year together. And I doubt not that the best is yet to come. As we gain clarity, as we commit to the work that is ours to do, and as we shape this beloved community, and by changing this, so is the larger community changing with us, one person at a time, because as within, so without. So I am grateful to walk alongside you, and for this wonderful year and the way we've done it. I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you all. And so it is.